Not to get all pretentious on you, but maybe it's just that I have a thing for anapestic tetrameter.
This is a vlog.
Hello friends. Last Friday I talked about a book I was obsessed with as a teenager, and this week I thought I'd talk to you about a book that I was kind of obsessed with as a small child, and that book was The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins, whose title is usually met with a disinterested glaze over of the eyes after the third word of that title. Just like so many kids, Dr. Seuss played such a huge role in my life growing up, and I think we focus so much on the poetry that he wrote that we sometimes forget about how great of a prose writer he was. Yes, we all know about Green Eggs and Ham and Fox and Socks and Horton Hears a Who and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but we forget that even in his prose, he has written some of the best children's literature of the past 50 years, and more. This is the 75th anniversary of Bartholomew Cubbins. For those of you who are uninitiated with the plot summary of this children's tale, it involves Bartholomew Cubbins traveling into the kingdom and seeing the king pass by in his carriage caravan, and he takes off his hat as is custom in the kingdom of Did, and he discovers that there is another hat that appears on his head. And as much as he tries, and as much as he takes off more and more hats, the king is infuriated and eventually comes to the point where he's about to kill him. Which, I mean, these are all rational thoughts for a ruler. I've been trying to think about it, and I don't really know why I attached myself so much to this book as a kid. I wanted it to be read to me over and over and over again. I think maybe it's just because in that protagonist of Bartholomew Cubbins, he's thrust into a situation that he really has no control over. He doesn't want to have more hats appearing on his head, but it just kind of happens, and so he has to kind of deal with this stress of his life. Just as a kid growing up is thrown all these things that he has no control over, and I think that is why he's one of the great child protagonists. There's also the concept, if you want to get all English majory, which I do, that there's kind of this comment between fate and luck and how they kind of intertwine as we grow up. And as this is a Dr. Seuss story, you get to have this really great prose coupled with this amazing artwork of his that really just adds to the story. I remember my mother reading this story to me. I'm just like glancing at the pictures and imagining them kind of moving in my head. Imagination was a thing when I was a kid, folks. I mean, it still is. It just costs $500 more now. I'm also thinking about children's literature a lot more right now because for the first time, I became an uncle. Thank you for all your congratulations. I literally did nothing. Because I want to be the fun uncle, there's only 3 things I'm really good at, which is 1980s wrestling, bad 1990s comedies, and reading. My little nephew right now is just this little glob of gelatin that you try and hold and not drop onto the floor again. I said I was sorry. And it could be that he's just not into reading as he grows up, which I hear is a thing that some people have, which is sad, and that you should donate money. But be that as it may, I hope that he is, just so that I can share these things with him. I want to be able to read to him from Dr. Seuss. I want to share with him the Roald Dahl stories that meant so much to me when I was growing up. I hope he gets into Goosebumps and Stephen King and all the other great novels and books and children's literature that is out there. Alice and Oz and Narnia and Harry Potter and all this great stuff that just is so wonderful to be a part of. Video games and movies and TV are all great, but there's something special about the book, about the novel, about that story that you kind of just drill into and believe, however wrong, that just for a moment, just for a glimmer, that that book was written just for you. This has drifted very far away from Dr. Seuss and the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins, which I adore, and I want to know what your opinions are as well. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about reading, what you think about this video. If you've read the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins, let me know that too down in the comment section below. And so concludes week 2 of VEDA. Thank you so much for sticking around. My name is Kyle. I'm going to see you again on Monday if you so choose. I have to go and fix this cat in the hat situation that's going on in my house right now. It is, you would think that after having read that book, it would just be a lot of fun and games, but instead, lots and lots of feces.